About 60 to 70 million years ago, just along the edge of the extinction of the dinosaurs, is thought to be when the first primates emerged. Just adjacent to these proto-primates were a lineage known as the Plesiadapiformes. They are paraphyletic, not including primates in the modern world, though the group Plesiadapoidea is thought to be the sister taxon to all modern primates. Experts disagree as to whether the Plesiadapiformes were primates themselves, though it is generally agreed upon that they were extremely close relatives. Close enough for me to make a video about them. The Plesiadapiformes lasted from around 65 to 35 million years ago. They were a taxonomically diverse group with a surprisingly large fossil record with over 100 recognized species. The earliest forms were unspecialized and could possibly have given rise to primates, though the later forms were more derived and definitely did not have any modern descendants. Plesiadapiformes were similar to primates in having a postorbital bar, though it is less developed and resembles the incomplete bar of some domestic cats. They were definitely arboreal, and some species are thought to have fingernails and/or keeled nails, as opposed to claws, based on the shape of the distal phalanges. They already possess highly mobile wrists, fingers, and shoulders. The hip was also highly adapted for considerable mobility, like a squirrel or a loris. The upper incisors frequently had cusps like molars, something unusual among all mammals. I'm going to talk about the different major groups of Plesiadapiform in this video, of which there are 4. This video does include some illustrations that I made, as well as illustrations stolen from somewhere else. Stolen. Well, there you have it. The Purgatoridae are the most basal Plesiadapiforms, or thought to be, anyway. The ankles resemble those of small primates, without much adaptation for weight-bearing, indicating a specialized arboreal lifestyle centered around climbing and clinging. Purgatorius, the type species, lived directly through the end of the age of the dinosaurs. It is not only thought to be one of the oldest Plesiadapiforms, one of the oldest eukaryotes, meaning it predates any fossils of colugos and tree shrews, as well as primates. It would probably have been an insectivore, living a life much like the modern tree shrew. They did not have specialized teeth like later forms did, and are thought to be ancestral to other Plesiadapiforms and possibly primates as well. Some suggest it is even simple enough to have been unrelated to primates, though this is not the general opinion. The Micromomyomidae are thought to be the next earliest members of the Plesiadapiforms, and also include some animals thought to be ancestral to primates. They were scansorial in nature, which is another word for arboreally quadrupedal, and probably insectivorous, like modern tree shrews. There were a great many species in this group, including 5 genera. They are best distinguished from one another by the shape and/or presence of the second and third premolars. Most of these animals were found in North America, suggesting that the first primates originated there, or, in a less likely scenario, in Western Europe. Dry-nosed primates would later originate in Asia or Africa, likely the former, although all modern monkeys probably trace back to a more recent common ancestor in Africa. Like the modern tarsier, the animal Dryomamus zawazai had only one pair of lower incisors, and they projected strongly forward, like in gummivorous animals such as marmosets and sugar gliders. Whether it actually ate sap doesn't seem to have been researched extensively. The absence or shrunkenness of the third premolar in this taxon makes it a likely candidate to be an early ancestor to primates, though the absence of the second pair of incisors indicates the reverse. The Paramomyoidea were the first Plesiadapiforms to pursue a career in herbivory. They are still closer to the ancestry of primates than others. They were American in nature and are poorly studied compared to the others. The largest member of the family, shown on the screen, was Ignacius, a giant by Plesiadapiform standards. It was about the size of a small house cat. It was also one of the last Plesiadapiforms as well as one of the first, with the genus lasting for nearly 30 million years. They had some adaptations for leaping, including powerful hindquarters, and had an individually variable dental formula, something rare in animals. Last but certainly not least were the Plesiadapoidea, which are by far the most well-known of the Plesiadapiforms and sister taxon to all modern primates. Later forms had specialized incisors with multiple cusps. Most species had an opposable big toe. Saxonella has been found on both sides of the Atlantic, both Canada and Europe, suggesting it may have lived on Greenland as well, which was then a steaming jungle like most of the northern hemisphere. It was an extremely early arrival, emerging very shortly after Purgatorius, implying rapid speciation between the Plesiadapiforms. Saxonella would have been folivorous. A later species, Carpolestes, is known to have without a doubt possessed flattened nails instead of claws on its thumbs, and to have been a primate-like arboreal quadruped. It would probably have favored feeding on flowers, fruit, and other sugary plants. Its relative Carpodaptes would have been a generalized omnivore that ate insects as well as fruit, and was found in both America and China. It probably preferred drier weather than Carpolestes did. In contrast to Carpolestes, the animal Plesiadapis, shown on the screen with the arrow, had large projections on its fingers that either were or acted like claws. It would have climbed like a cat. In conclusion, the Plesiadapiformes were a long-lived group, but in the end, their modern cousins, the primates, defeated them in the obstacle course of evolution. That doesn't mean they weren't worth as much, though, and I count them as primate enough to have been worth a video. Everyone say goodbye to your great, etc. uncle. I will see you next time.